Coming to you from Kansas City, Kansas. Juice it, drink it, serve it. It's Late Nite Lemonade time with your host,
Luke
and Matt.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Late Nite Lemonade.
Oh, yeah. This episode of Late Nite Lemonade, we're going to go over some movies that we should watch, suggesting, and then a little bit of, some good movies that we've heard about as well.
Yeah.
So
we got some bad ones too.
Yeah, we got our own list going. So if you want to start off, or me, who wants to start off with it?
Yeah, I'll start off first. So I found a Reddit post in the horror genre, and it says, "What are some all-time great bad horror movies?"
Oh.
So they're so bad that they're good.
Okay.
Right off the top, do you have any horror movies that you've seen that are so bad they're good? Because I've got some that are so bad that they're just bad.
I can't think because if I know it's bad, I'm not going to think about it, or I'm not going to want to watch it again. No, not really. What do they?
I'm thinking of the ones that are so corny, and you're just like, this is just awful, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those, like the Puppet Master series.
Okay.
They're not good movies, but they're so funny and they're fun. They're
okay.
Great.
Well, what do they got for this list?
So a couple of the movies that they're saying is Troll 2. Troll 2 is the most famous, I would say, of the bad, it's so bad it's good horror movies. I've never seen it, but I really want to see it.
I've never heard of it. No.
Just hearing the names of the different ones that they have on here, it's so perfect. Birdemic.
That sounds familiar. Birdemic. What is it, like a pandemic with birds or something?
Yeah, I think so. And then let's see what else they've got. Blood Dolls. That just sounds like off-brand.
Yeah, that sounds very gory. And then trying to be scary with blood and dolls.
It sounds
you're going to get two in one to people that are afraid of blood.
Yeah.
And then dolls, yes, but how good is it going to be?
Take both words, blood and dolls, and if you're scared of both, yeah, Blood Doll. Then they have Ouija Shark. So
it's an offbeat of Shark Week
and the Ouija board movies.
What Shark? What is it called again?
Ouija Shark. So I'm gonna look that one up.
Do you talk to dead sharks or something?
What I'm assuming is that it's all sharks just sitting around the Ouija board.
But they don't have thumbs or anything, so how do they do it? I don't understand. That's interesting that they have. I mean, it's got to be like an indie movie or something.
Yes, okay, all right. They use CGI and they put the shark on the.
Oh, that's so bad.
Pool. Yeah.
It came out in 2020.
2020, yeah, when everything great came out, right?
Yeah, right. With less of a budget, but yeah. Okay.
So
Ouija Shark.
We've got Ouija Shark. Killer Sofa. It's probably self-explanatory.
I mean, yeah. I could get that. Well, it's taking all my change or my stuff out of my pockets.
Yeah.
But just imagine
everything in there.
Just suck you up,
We've got Motel Hell. That sounds pretty average. Hospital Massacre.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty terrible too. Carousel Hell 1 and 2. That could be a terrible time.
Yeah.
So I would enjoy watching those. The Killing Tree, and then Slacks. So I've never heard of any of those.
No, they sound like very down-put movies. I mean, if they're the greatest of the bad, yeah, you're not going to hear about them.
Those are the movies that I want to start watching because I really enjoy making fun of movies while I'm watching.
I've heard of people going to dollar stores or real cheap stores, and there'll be movies that they never heard of, but they'll have bins or boxes of them, and who makes these, and who buys them?
Yeah.
It's like $1 movie. Oh, let's go watch it. I did watch somebody on TikTok that was talking about he bought a stack of movies he was gonna go watch that did not know anything about.
That's a great time.
Right.
I would do that. I would totally do that.
Well, go to a dollar store. They'll probably have something in it.
I can't afford them.
You can't afford it? What, $1.25?
Yeah, the $1.25, the increase, I can't steep that high. Okay, so here's one movie that I've seen, and I would consider this the worst movie I have ever seen.
Wait. If you can't afford it, you should go follow us on Late Nite Lemonade platforms. because I think that'll help Luke out.
The donations. Yeah, give me
Yeah.
$1.25 so I can buy Ouija Shark.
Ouija Shark, yep.
Yeah.
But what else you got?
So the worst movie I have ever watched is called The Open House.
I remember, yeah.
You've seen this one?
Very, very stupid.
So it's got the guy from 13 Reasons Why. Let's see. Dylan Minnett is his name.
Yeah.
And this movie could have been great, but it's horrible. It is absolutely the worst movie I've ever seen. So basically, you have this guy. He's moving into this house. It's a nice mansion in like Lake Tahoe area, and they're having an open house. They're only there until after they sell the house, and then they've got to get. And the movie is just so bad. There's like a killer that somehow gets into the house.
Yeah.
Through the open house, and Dylan once mentions that isn't it kind of weird that we let a bunch of people just walk around the house and nobody's really watching them and they could do anything that they want.
Well, yeah.
That's
a big loop right there.
That's what an open house is, and they decided that could be scary. It's not. It's not good. It's so boring.
Oh, wow.
It's so bad.
When
There's a scene where the killer somehow gets him, and he grabs his contact lens and pulls it out. Now come and get away from me. What?
That doesn't happen easily. I know because I have contacts. It's not easy to take out a contact. It takes a second. And then you're not pulling out their eyeball while doing it? Come on.
Yeah, no. Nothing happens in this movie. There's like a neighbor that's like super weird and it doesn't go anywhere at all.
Yeah.
Like she shows up and then disappears and nothing comes of it.
Where it came out in 2018
on Netflix.
It's on Netflix right now?
Yep.
Okay.
It is on Netflix. And it has a whopping 3.3 out of 10 on IMDb and a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep, so proves in the numbers that it isn't that great.
The proof is in the pudding.
Watch it yourself. Go watch it on Netflix. Spend an hour and 30 minutes judging. That's all.
Yep. And if you enjoy it, please tell me why. Because I want to know if there's people out there who like to torture themselves.
Why?
Because, I can't do it. That movie's so bad. Do you have a movie that you consider the worst movie you have ever seen?
I don't really know. Because like I said, I forget.
You have it in your head, you're watching it, and then you're like, throw that away. No, I'm never watching this again.
Usually I'll just turn it right off. Like, I don't want to watch this. Or I'll get disinterested. I'll just see it on my phone.
That was why I was so mad at this movie, The Open House. I watched it on a Good Friday night.
I remember, yeah.
And it wasted my Friday. I have a limited amount of nights I can just stay up and watch movies.
Yeah.
And this one robbed me of that Friday night.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Hour and 30 minutes wasted.
But do you have anything for us?
I would say one of my suggested movies to watch would have been Bright from Netflix.
This was 2017?
This one is 2017. It's an action fantasy. It's almost 2 hours long. It goes over the present day with humans, orcs, elves, fairies, and being consistent and living with each other from the beginning of time. So basically, it says in the bio, 2 police officers and 1 human being. One's a human and one's an orc. They embark on a routine night patrol, and then they will basically change the future with battling both their personal differences as well as the onslaught of enemies. They end up finding a forgotten-to-be relic, which in the wrong hands could destroy everything. I love the soundtrack from the movie.
The song Home?
Yes, the Home.
Ex-Ambassador, Machine Gun Kelly.
It was all around
so
great.
Good.
I still listen to it.
I do too. And I've never seen the movie, but I've heard the song.
Right. But it comes with Will Smith as one of the top characters in there. A couple other different people. But I loved it. It was a great battle of good and bad, and then kind of the fantasy of that. It's a good series that they made on Netflix. It's a good one.
That's awesome. I'll have to check that one out.
Oh, yeah.
So, I have 2 different articles opened up. One is the top 100 best movies of all time, and then I also have the top 100 best horror movies of all time.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off with the top 100. I'm not going to count all of these, but what I am going to do is read off the ones that I recognize the name and see if we've seen them. Because I've seen a fair amount of movies, but honestly, I haven't seen the classics. I haven't seen a ton of movies that people are like, oh, this movie's the best. And I wish I had seen them, but I just haven't, and I haven't had the time or the interest for whatever reason. So I'll read out some of these, and if you've seen it, you got to tell me, and tell me if it's good, if it's not so great, not your thing, but what you feel about the movies.
Gotcha.
So one of the first ones is Groundhog Day.
My girlfriend loves Groundhog Day. If you know anything about that, Bill Murray, he does great in living with the same day being repeated over and over and over, trying to beat the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good movie, especially watching on Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Getting that sensual feeling of that possibly happening.
It's a holiday movie.
Yeah, it technically is a holiday movie, and I think he does great with dealing with the problem that he has for that specific day, the same thing. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I love Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And this movie also got a bunch of other movies rolling, like Happy Death Day.
Yep.
Both of those movies are taking on the Groundhog Day idea, where you're going through the same day over and over again. And I think this was the originator of that.
Yeah, I could see that. That'd be good.
I remember one movie from Nickelodeon called The Last Day of Summer, and it takes the Groundhog's Day idea, and it's this guy named Luke, so of course I liked it.
Oh, heck yeah.
And he's going through the same last day of summer over and over and over again until he can finally break the loop and get with the girl and beat the bully and everything that you would want to do on the last day of school.
Oh, wow.
But that's a fun one. I'm probably the only one who would enjoy it. But let's see some other movies on here. Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, that's favorite of nerd stance. That I love the Scott Pilgrim versus the World. The videography on that. Oh my gosh! So like the different angles, the different like superpower punch and action comic feel. That's great. I loved every single second of Scott Pilgrim versus the World. A lot of different quotes are still used to this day. Different actions or things that are done in the movie. I think that's a good cultural movie. Some people don't know about it though.
Yeah.
Coming out in, what was it, like 2010s or even earlier?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah. So it's been out for a little bit, but I suggest if you didn't see that one, watch that one.
Yeah. I actually have a t-shirt of it, of the Scott Pilgrim versus the World in the anime form.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
So that's another one you'd recommend?
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men.
No, I don't know about that one.
I have watched this one. It is objectively a good movie. It's considered one of the best movies of all time. And yeah, I watched it recently. It was actually like a year ago that I watched it. It's not really for me. Without going into too many spoilers, the movie's so well done. There's amazing scenes. There's one scene where you have the bad guy, blanking on his name, but basically, Aton. He flips his coin, and if it's heads or tails, then he's going to kill the guy that he's talking to.
Sounds like Two-Face from
Batman. From Batman. It's pretty much like that. So he has basically a set of his own morals, and he's okay with killing people if the coin is heads or tails or whatever they choose. And there's one really intense scene where he's talking to a guy in a convenience store, and he's like, heads or tails, and he would have killed the guy if he chose the wrong one.
Was it like an older guy that he was talking to? I think I saw clips of it.
You've probably seen clips.
I think I've seen clips.
And he uses this it's a cow like prod, and then he puts it up to the forehead and then turns it on and it kills the person.
See, has he got that weird haircut?
Yep, okay, the horrible haircut, yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it is a very good movie, but yeah, it's, for whatever reason, I wasn't into the ending. It wasn't for me. But yeah, I don't want to go into too many spoilers, but I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil anything. Titanic.
It's a classic.
It is a classic.
The two VHS tapes.
Yep, the two VHS tapes connected together.
Yeah. No, it's a classic. I think everybody should watch that. It's a good rendition of what could have happened at Titanic. but it's pretty neat that they use all that stuff. And then, like we talked about before, Branson, they have the Titanic Museum up in there.
Titanic Museum. That's right. And I remember when it was the 100th anniversary, and they were at Union Station for the Titanic exhibit. That was super cool, but I've actually never seen the movie. I've never seen Titanic.
Oh, we're gonna watch Titanic now.
We gotta watch Titanic because it's one of those movies that's like so famous and everybody should watch it. I just haven't.
It's a good love story.
Okay, 87 is The Exorcist.
Yeah, that's another classic. I mean, that started off the exorcism type of horror, leading up to, what do you call it? Your Conjuring, leading up to that and things like that. But Exorcist is great in its own spin-offs of Scary Movie.
Yeah.
I mean, but...
The parodies.
Yeah, the parodies of that, but I think The Exorcist is a good one to watch.
That's another one I've never seen.
Yeah, I've watched most of it, but not all of it.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's just one of those classics. I think that was one of the original movies to where people were actually throwing up in the movie theater, and they would have cops like coming through because people were getting angry and fighting because it was so scary.
Yeah.
But that was at a time where they didn't have many scary movies like that.
No. It was a long time ago.
All right, the next one is Black Panther.
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever, yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I love that one. That's one of my favorite Marvel movies. My favorite is Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, I haven't watched that one yet.
Oh, it's so good because I like Jackie Chan movies and I like seeing all that fighting style. Next one. The Usual Suspect. Have you ever seen that?
No, I've never seen that one.
I've never seen it either. I've heard everybody talk about how good it is.
It sounds familiar.
It's got a very famous quote from the movie, and it's basically, it might be spoilers, so I'll continue on. Psycho.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Psycho's another one that I haven't seen.
Good thriller. I think I've watched, like, just a little bit of Psycho, but nothing crazy.
I've only seen the ending of Psycho.
Oh, that's spoiled.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I know exactly what the ending is, and I really enjoy the ending. But yeah. Psycho, so I've actually seen the TV show, Bates Motel, that it's based off of. And Bates Motel is really, really good.
Yep,
So,
that's a good one.
I recommend that TV show.
I got one for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Split.
I love that movie.
That one's a good kind of offbeat or a different movie from what was it, the Classman or something. I can't remember what the other movie that they had, but it's a different movie from the original. Basically, this one person has I think it's 26 personalities or something.
Split personalities.
Yeah, and then he ends up having another personality growing. With the therapist is trying to tame or acknowledge all these personalities and coherent with each other. But it's one person that has all these different people inside of them, basically. The way they would act, dress, talk, different things that they would think. But it was one person. So one person would think they had diabetes and they would take insulin. One person you'd think they're anorexic or, different things that they ran into problems as a normal person-to-person issues. They're all having it with one person taking what they call the light. So I think they give a good rendition of personality disorder, as long as given the good twist of horror.
Right.
So I think that Split is a good one to watch.
Absolutely. And one of his personalities kidnaps 3 girls and keeps them, maybe 2 or 3. But yeah, it is scary. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, so there's going to be a twist, just because that's his thing. But yeah, absolutely, that is a great movie, and it's got James McAvery, who also played Tumnus on Chronicles of Narnia movies, which are some of my favorites. So.
Yep, I know about.
All right, so I have another one, E.T., the Extraterrestrial.
E.T. Gone Home. It's a classic.
It is a classic.
If you don't know about it, you gotta watch it.
And that's one that I definitely have seen.
Yeah. What was it? It came out in the 80s?
I think so.
Yeah. If you didn't grow up watching it, then your kids should.
E.T. It's hilarious. It's a great movie.
Yep.
A Quiet Place.
That's a good one. That's a very recent movie. That's the weird one to watch in the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
Completely quiet.
Yep.
Completely quiet. I don't know if we watched it in the movies or something
I
that way.
watched the second one in the movie theater.
Yeah. So I was watching the second one in the movie theater.
Oh, it was amazing. But yeah, everybody in the theater is so quiet because they're trying to hear and kind of mimic what they're doing on the screen, and because they're being so quiet on the screen, you're just
They're whispering.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're just tuned in. So basically, the idea of A Quiet Place is that the world is getting attacked by some type of alien, and how they hunt is that they hear things. So in A Quiet Place, you have to be completely silent. So whenever you're walking, you have to be silent. If you're giving birth to a baby, you have to be silent or very, very quiet so they can't hear you. And they've got supersonic ears so they can hear really well. But yeah, it's done so well. You've got
Mhm.
what's his name from The Office doing the movies?
I can't remember his name, but I know you're talking about. Yeah. Jim.
So good. John Krasinski.
Yeah, John Krasinski. Cool.
Absolutely great movies. It's honestly, I wouldn't say a young family movie, like for kids to watch, but if you've got teenagers, I absolutely recommend it because it is a strong family unit. You're seeing the father trying to take care of his family. You're seeing a mother try to go through with having a baby through probably the hardest moment of everyone's life in this earth. And then the second movie comes out, and if I say certain things about the first movie, it would be spoilers for the second one. But honestly, it is even better than the first. It is so good.
So it's a good thing to have people watch with that talk a lot or something to keep them quiet because you got to keep quiet
Yeah.
for the time of the movies.
Are you a talker while you're watching movies?
Unless I watched it before and I'm at like at my place or somewhere else, I'll probably talk a little bit. Or if I know it, if it's like a singing moment, yeah, I'll probably do it. I'm really really bad at Shrek.
Shrek.
I'm really
So
bad. That's
good.
my favorite movie, but yeah, I just would go along with what's going on in the movie.
Yeah. I'm a talker too. I love Nacho Libre. And when
Oh,
I'm
that's a
watching
good
it,
one too.
you can quote so many different things from the movie, so it's a good time to watch.
Corn on my
Get that
face.
cone on my face. Or in a man, there's the nucleus.
Nucleus, yeah.
Oh, classics.
Mm.
So just a couple more of these. The movie Up.
Oh yeah, that's a good children's movie. Up.
I have seen it. It is a good movie. I cannot watch it.
Yeah, it's a little boring, but it's a
It's
good
it's
homey film.
it's the grandmother dying. Like I can't. Like
Oh
movies
yeah.
with old people for whatever reason that affects me the most. Like
Yeah.
out of movies, like if a dog dies in a movie, most people are like, "This movie's so sad. This is horrible." I do get sad if a dog dies, but if it's like an older family member, that gets me. That is the one thing that I'm like, I can't go back and watch it
Yeah.
just because it's too emotional. That original scene where they're showing the grandpa and the grandmother growing up together, and you're seeing all these nice things, and then you see the. I know, I start to cry even thinking about it. Especially the music is like all happy, and then it gets sad, and you're like, "Oh my goodness, what am I watching?
It's always the turn.
Why is Pixar doing this to me?"
That's
So
what
yeah,
they do best.
they're great movies, but I can't watch the Up movie.
No.
The next one is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So of course we've already talked about it on this podcast.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite movies of all time. Genuinely, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movies. Animated, it is so good. Crystal clear, characters are amazing, the story's action-packed. It's so cool getting to see all these different characters interact with each other.
Yeah, and that's the movie that has the different versions of it, the endings. So that's definitely because you've seen a different version that came out on the disc, or you know, so I think that's cool to have that.
So I'll continue with a few of these movies.
Okay.
If you have anything to bring
That's a
out,
good one. Get Out.
Get Out. The movie Get Out is incredible. It is at least in my top 5 favorite horror movies.
Yeah, I mean he did a good pull of I can't remember how to pronounce it, but like the where they hypnotize them. They did great at the hypnotizing of each person, and then what they're doing with the African American people. It's just it wasn't coming out like 2016 or something. It didn't come out around.
I think it was like 2016, 2017. Probably
Yeah.
2017 or 18.
It came out at a great time. Um, I think it was a great cast. Letting into his other movies that he did. What was it?
You have Us.
Us, and then
Up.
And Up. So another movie that he did. It's kind of the same basis, but a little bit different.
And you're talking about Jordan Peele.
Yeah, Jordan Peele. He did great with having the African American lead role, and then kind of the different problems or traumatic experiences that go through that, which could happen to this day. So I think he did great at grabbing that photography version of the scary moment, basically.
Yeah. Get Out was out of left field. Like, it was amazing out of nowhere. And the coolest part was Jordan Peele coming from
Comedy.
Key and Peele, coming from comedy, going straight into a horror movie. I don't think anybody expected it, but man, he did an incredible job with the movie. Yeah. It's actually freaky, and it has a good ending. Like, so many scary movies do not have good endings, and this one is just perfect. Like, all the characters are just amazing. The acting is incredible, and you're seeing these characters getting kidnapped or hypnotized. The main character is dating a white girl, and she brings him in to meet her family. And then, of course, he starts getting hypnotized, and they're trying to take over his body and basically put these old people's brains and kind of push them into their back of the mind so they can take over, and these old people can use these African Americans' bodies because they think they're superior. And there's a lot of really cool, deeper meanings in that movie, as well as I think the other movie is Them, and then, or it's called Us, and then they also have the movie Up, or what is it? Nope. The movie Nope.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And both of those are great movies, but I think Get Out is the winner.
Yeah, it was the first one of the series.
Did you see the others?
No, I think I saw Us. I don't think I saw that one.
Us.
That one was creepy. It was like,
yeah, with the scissors and
the two dimension.
Yep.
Yeah, that was cool.
That one was filmed, at least some parts of the movies were filmed on the beach in California, and I went to that pier that they filmed the very first scene in that movie.
Oh, cool. How did you know that it was there? Did you
They had a poster. Remember? Well, I remembered, and then they also had a poster. I forget which pier it was, but I'll have to look back and check.
Cool. I like that.
And then the third movie, which was Nope. I enjoyed it mostly. I think the movie was a little, I don't know, just wasn't my favorite.
I got one.
Yeah, go for it.
This one I love because it's fairly recent. Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise. So I've seen the original Evil Dead movies.
Yeah.
I have not seen Evil Dead Rise.
So Evil Dead Rise, I don't know about the original. I haven't really watched that, but this rendition, it's great. I mean, I think there's some good quotations and sayings in that movie. It also does good with its jump scares. They're not predictable. It does great with the different type of like thriller or chill to it. Some of it's expected, but then some of it is like, oh, it's a lot of blood and gore. Like, that's where the part that you might not like is the blood and gore, but I think it does good with just alone its scariness of what could happen in that sense. Because if you really break down the movie from the beginning to the end, they kind of go into each thing that happens, and then leads up to like the big problem. So I think Evil Dead Rise is a good one for a scary movie that I've watched.
Did you see the original Evil Dead movies?
No.
They're really good. They're very corny. They're really corny. But that's the best part about it. It's almost like it's bad, it's good. But I really think they're just good. They use claymation in the first movies, and it is done so well, especially the second movie. There's a scene where he's like going crazy in the room, everything's coming to life. Like the lamp is coming to life, the moose head on the wall is coming to life, and he's like laughing, and he starts to dance with all these characters in the room just because he's going insane. And it's showing him going further into madness, and those movies are awesome. And I saw the remake of the Evil Dead movie, And that's actually a horror movie. It's straight up not corny at all. It's just terrifying. It's
Wow.
really good. So seeing now that they have Evil Dead Rise, I got to check it out.
Okay, that's good.
So I have another movie from the top 100 movies, and it is Forrest Gump.
Oh, I like all kinds of different shrimp.
Bubba Gump shrimp?
Yeah. Popcorn shrimp, buttered shrimp. Oh, they just go on. Yeah, I love that. That's another good movie with quotes.
Lots of quotes.
Lots of box of chocolates. I mean, it's a great one. It's a good. I think it's a sad story, honestly.
It's so sad. The ending. So the movie, I love the movie. It's great, but the ending is so sad to me.
Yeah.
Like just knowing that he was trying to get with a girl named Ginny, and at the end of the movie, well, there's spoilers, but the movie's been out for a bit. But yeah, it's a disappointing ending to an amazing movie, and it's one of those movies to where you think, can a great movie be ruined by the ending? I don't think it's ruined by the ending. It makes sense for the movie. It's just, to me, it's just so sad. He could have been with somebody amazing who loved him for him, and it's showing that people at this time were running away and making horrible choices, and Ginny made horrible choices. Where Forrest Gump, he went into the army, he went into paddleboard, or what is it called, ping pong championships. He went to run across America.
Yeah, he did so many great things.
And excelled in everything that he did. And he saved people's lives. He brought people together. And while this is happening, you're seeing on the other side of the coin, you're seeing Ginny's life get worse and worse and worse. And it's so sad. And at the end of the movie, after she's been through lots of different drugs, lots of different men, all these problems, okay, Forrest, I'm finally ready to settle down with you. It's like, come on. Yeah. That is so unfair. And then, of course, she has different stuff.
Yeah, he was so love struck on what had happened to him in the past and how it was. And yeah, it affected him later on in life. After being so good at what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. So another movie here is Spirited Away.
You know, I've watched Spirited Away, but I can't remember anything about it.
I just watched this last Friday.
Oh, so did you like it?
I did. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good anime.
It is so good.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a classic too. It's I think it came out in like the 90s.
Yeah, I think it was 1999. Yeah, or maybe 2001. I think it was 2001.
Yeah, it came out a while ago.
But yeah, that is a great anime. Any kids can watch it, basically. I mean, I would say it's maybe PG at most. There's a couple scenes that are a little scary, but for the most part, it's just a great movie, great story. But yeah, do you have any other movies?
I got into the scary movie, The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Basically, the father and son of a small town coroners perform an autopsy on an unidentified woman with mysterious injuries and a terrifying secret. Basically, they find her, I think, under a house or something. They end up finding her, but they ended up, like the coroners, they end up inspecting the body, figuring out if it's foul play or what had happened to the body, and then they identify her. But they end up going through weird instances of things happening, and ended up finding out she's a witch. I think it's a great rendition of if you love witchy stuff, of that scary part that could happen. But I think it's a good, like, mysterious, scary. I think so.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out because I haven't seen it yet.
I think it's on Netflix as well.
Sweet.
Yes, it's on Netflix, so go ahead and watch it.
All right, I've got another absolute classic, which is Ghostbusters.
You know what's funny? My girlfriend wanted me to watch Ghostbusters. They have it at the drive-in, and I don't.
Wait, right now?
Yeah, they were talking about Friday and Saturday at the Boulevard Drive-In. But I don't know if it's going to work if the rain comes. So.
Yeah, true. I would love to see that.
But they're supposed to have the original, and I think the brand new one that just came out.
Oh, Afterlife?
Yeah.
Or no, this one's Frozen Empire, yes.
Yeah.
It looks so good. I haven't seen it yet. But the original movies, that's like one of those first movies that my dad watched. He was just like, don't tell your mom. But we're going to watch something scary but funny, and you're going to enjoy it. In that very first scene where they're in the library, and the ghost goes, shh, and they try to interview it, and he goes, "Rah!"
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yes, let's go. This is going to be so fun. This movie's amazing. And yeah, Ghostbusters was like the movie. It felt like the step up from Goosebumps. And now I'm getting to watch a good scary movie. It wasn't even a scary movie, really. It's
Yeah.
more of a comedy. But they have horror elements in it. And it's probably in my top 5 movies of all time.
That's also the test of CGI because
Yeah.
it was like very new.
Revolutionary.
Yeah.
1985.
Yeah.
1985 this movie came out. And it's got better graphics than some movies.
The word,
some movies today.
The best or the baddest, greatest or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Movies.
Man, so yeah, Ghostbusters. If you haven't seen Ghostbusters,
I mean,
you got to go and check it out.
Who are you gonna call?
Yeah, who are you gonna call? I've got the shirt.
Ghostbusters.
Who are you gonna call?
It's iconic.
Do you have another one?
I have another funny movie.
Okay, go for it.
And I was telling Luke about it. The Package came out in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, these kids, they went on this hike, and after having this incident happened, I can't describe it, but they have an eggplant on the cover of the movie. So eggplant leads up to something. But basically, they risk everything to get his dignity back and make him whole again. And I think they do great of what the problem was, what had happened. But I had so much fun watching it the first couple times, just laughing at every single thing. I think it's a good, funny movie. It's not really kid appropriate; it's rated R. But if you like watching movies like a funny outside that movie, I think that'd be it.
It's very reminiscent of like the early 2000s comedies.
Yeah.
Like American Pie and movies like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you enjoy those types of movies, you're gonna really enjoy this one.
Cool.
So I have another one, which is a classic, and it is The Shining.
Ooh, I love that one.
Oh, it's so good.
I remember watching that at Luke's house one time and then getting scared because I had
You were at my house?
Yeah, because we watched it and I got scared and I didn't want to go to sleep. So, yeah.
Did we also watch Goosebumps that night?
Probably.
Was that the same time where we watched Slappy, the Night of the Living Dummies?
Yeah, we did watch Slappy. That's what it was. That one was creepy because I kept thinking something was in her room. Like,
dolls are creepy, man. Yeah.
Like, here's Johnny.
But yeah, The Shining, so good. It is a classic. Have you heard the controversies around The Shining?
Where they were hallucinating and had problems, or what?
I was thinking more of how Stanley Kubrick, was really, really mean to the cast.
No.
Specifically the woman. I'm totally blanking on her name because it's not written down here. But Jack Nicholson is the main character, and then his wife in the movie. And Jack Nicholson, Stanley Kubrick treated him like a star. He was super nice to him. But the wife in the movie, he would make her have to do take after take after take, over 100 takes. And he even slapped her in the face once, and she started losing her hair because of how he was treating her, and he was just laughing at her like, look at her hair, it's falling out. I'm making her so stressed because we're making a good movie. It is considered one of the best movies of all time, and Stanley Kubrick is one of the greatest directors of all time, but he really pushes his actors to the point where I don't know if it's fair.
Yeah, I know. That's insane.
I understand trying to make a good movie. I get that. But man, there's a limit. And I would say he pushed it over the limit.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
1980 film, so that's the curse of the 80s. That's insane. I didn't know all that. Wow.
Yeah.
Taught me.
Yep. Did you have another movie for me?
I think I got one more.
Okay.
2018 film called The Ritual.
That is one I have not seen yet, but it's on my list.
So 4 friends would go on a long hiking trip in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
They go over there, and basically, in the name itself, The Ritual, they run into basically, I don't know if it's like a cult or something in that sense, but they run into people that do a normal ritual in the Swedish forests, and I think it's to fight off like a monster or something. But I think it's a really good movie if you don't like going out in the woods at night or at all. I think that's a great movie to watch to kind of get yourself off of that what might happen or just good scare for you, along with like a cult type of feeling. It's a good one to watch. But it's called The Ritual. As I see, it's on Netflix, so I would recommend that one.
All right, man. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I've got another one, Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good Christmas movie.
That's what everybody says. It's a Christmas movie.
It's like it's a shot at them doing a Christmas party, so it's automatically a Christmas movie.
Yep.
Anything with Christmas is a Christmas movie. It could be the chorus of the gore, as long as it's got presents and Santa in there. You're good.
Yep. Then it's a Christmas movie. I watched Die Hard for the first time last year, actually, and it is so good. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did.
Where have you been? Have you been under a rock?
I have been, and that rock is named Jesus Christ. So I've been very careful, trying to be good. But Die Hard's not that bad. It's actually a really great movie that's not too inappropriate. I guess there's a couple scenes, but for the most part, this movie's perfect. It's a perfect action movie. The character by Bruce Willis is just, it's so good. So let me find a couple more here. Okay, I got another one for you.
What you got?
Back to the Future.
Oh, that's another classic.
That is one of my favorite movies. I tell everybody that's my favorite movie.
Why is that?
It's such a good story. Just being able to go back in time and seeing the 50s during the 80s whenever it was filmed was such a cool, like, going back and forth. And then I forget what year they go to. I think it's 2015 that they go into the future for.
I think so. 2015, yeah.
And seeing what they think 2015 would look like. I guess that's part 2, but still. Those movies are perfect. I love the love story where he gets involved with like his mom and then his dad and almost ruins that. But the best part is whenever the main character's dad stands up for himself and actually punches the bully right in the face and changes history forever, and their family becomes rich and successful. It's amazing.
Yeah, the iconic DeLorean reaching 88 miles an hour.
Yep.
Stuff like that. And then the iconic Nike Air shoes. To this day, they're still like worth a lot of money. They've had replicas of those shoes. They look pretty neat. They're like future shoes, I think. I love that. But different things that they have in the movie, it's still to this day like thought about or talked about.
Mm-hmm. And that ending scene where he's playing the music and the picture, it starts coming back whenever his parents start falling in love together.
Yeah.
It's so good. And you got Doc in there, one of the greatest actors, Christopher Lloyd. Man, this movie is just so good.
Good
Inspiration for Rick.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Doc and Marty, Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Rick and Morty.
That was the inspiration.
Yep.
Which is so funny that he's just like, I'm going to make Doc and Marty, but instead, because of copyright issues, we're going to make it Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
So let's do a couple more. So, Pulp Fiction, have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen Pulp Fiction.
I have not seen Pulp Fiction yet.
Yeah, that's the gory one.
It's a gory one?
Yeah, it's a good one. I think it's a good one to watch, but it's definitely like on the line of Quentin Tarantino's movies, like how he does it.
He loves that style.
Yeah,
he's action to the max.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good one of his movies.
So here's just the last 3 on this list, which is The Godfather, Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, and The Lord of the Rings.
So The Godfather, very long movie. It's like, I think it's like 2 or 3 hours long. Mm-hmm. There's like the 3 movies. They're great movies, but if you can pay attention for a long time and not be bored and not fall asleep, go right ahead with The Godfather.
Yeah,
it is a classic though. It's a lot of things in the movies that people remember and talk about. Kiss the Ring, but I think it's a good one.
Yeah,
you got to have time and patience for those.
It's another classic movie that I've never seen.
Yeah,
and I might see it one day, but it's one of those movies.
I've seen the first one. I've seen partial of the second, but it's just you got to sit there and watch it.
Yeah, maybe I have too much TikTok brain, and it would be difficult to
just
watch
sit
the whole
there.
thing. So the other two was the Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. I have seen it. I don't remember it super well because it's been a while since I've seen it. They're classics. The
Isn't
Star
that
Wars
the
movies.
first one that they made? I think so.
I think this is the darker sequel.
Okay, yeah. That's right. It is a good movie though.
Mm-hmm.
A lot happens in that movie, and once again, a lot of quotes,
Mm-hmm.
lots of things. And I love Star Wars because my truck is named after a Star Wars thing. So
Yep. And my name is Luke, so of course I like it.
yeah, it just goes well with us.
And the last movie was The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings.
So that's another great. Oh my god, they do great with costumes. They do great with video. I think they do great with like the type of medieval feel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, they do good with that. But along with carrying on the story and not being boring too long, with keeping on with action, because it's like a 3 hour long movie, and then you get the extended. It's like another hour, so it's like 4 hours long, and they do great with their movies. But that's another movie like The Godfather. You got to sit down, watch, and just pay attention to.
Yep.
I love them.
And I have seen the movies, but I was over at my cousin's house during a sleepover, so I really don't remember them super well because I was so tired. And I was just trying to keep myself awake just to watch the movies, but I probably fell asleep a couple of times.
Yeah, it's a movie that you kind of fall asleep to.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, those are the top 100s, or at least a couple of them that we've seen or have wanted to see. If there's any movies that you love, go ahead and put them on the comments down below so we can get to see them. Because there's so many movies and there's just so little time.
Yeah.
If I have a list of movies that I need to see, I'll go out of my way to see those.
Yeah, so go ahead and make your list and share with us as we shared with you to Late Nite Lemonade and help us out.
Absolutely. So I think that's going to cover this episode.
Yeah.
So thank you all for watching us and hanging out. But yeah, juice it, drink it, serve it. This is
Late Nite Lemonade.